Hello everyone, and welcome back to Jew Lore, where I'm finally keeping my promise from over a year ago to bring you guys another Kirby theory. Kirby is one of my favorite franchises, so I'm very excited to explore some new ideas regarding the series. And now, with the new Kirby and the Forgotten Land getting the new Star-Crossed World DLC for the Switch 2, there's one big question that needs answering. So here's a theory for you. There are ancient enemies hiding in plain sight in the Kirby games, and Kirby might encounter one pretty soon. So in the trailer for the new Forgotten Land DLC, we see this ice meteor that crashes into the Forgotten Land, which quickly seems to affect the landscape. And with the Star-Crossed World DLC coming out next month, I wanted to take a closer look. To recap the trailer, after the main events of the game, we see this heart-shaped ice meteor show up. Then it immediately shatters and releases these smaller ice crystals. Well, smaller being relative, because here's one crashing into the side of a building. It immediately begins affecting the terrain and the enemies, lifting islands from the sea and releasing these other creatures called Starries, which Kirby will have to save just like the Waddle Dees. Now, there's been a fairly popular theory going around that this heart-shaped meteor is actually a Jamba heart. And I'll say, there's a lot of evidence that lines up really well. First, just look at these appearances. They're both big crystalline hearts that seem to leak magical energy. Then, when you see them break open, they send fragments of their energy out, scattering them all over the place. On top of that, this energy corrupts the locals, each in their own way. Also, we know from Star Allies that Void Termina's Jamba Heart was a containment spell. So, whoever made this heart, it seems they wanted to contain the Starries. But why? Well, to be honest, this theory started out very differently. The first time I saw the Jamba Heart in Star Allies, I couldn't help but notice its similarity to another Kirby power source, the core of Star Dream. In Kirby Planet Robobot's True Arena, we get to see this core inside of the Access Arc. And I can't help but feel it's more than a coincidence how similar they appear. So let's compare these two. The Jamba Heart was made by the magical faction of the Ancients, mostly Galactonite, to seal away Void Termina. The core of Star Dream / the Access Arc was based on Nova's core, which was made by the scientific faction of the Ancients. I think it's safe to assume that Star Dream's core is identical to the original one in Galactic Nova, so we'll go ahead and refer to them as one and the same. And obviously they're both crystalline hearts. However, one of these contains power, and the other seems to be a source of it. So why do they look the same? Well, I have two possible answers. Either these are artificial Jamba Hearts, which would make sense, but why would they do this? We know the scientific ancients ended up banishing the magical ancients, so I don't think they really look up to them in that way. So, why would they replicate something signature to the magical faction? No, I instead think these are real Jamba Hearts. I think that the scientific ancients confiscated the Jamba Hearts that the magical ancients made before they were banished. Then, after their banishment, they began their experiments on the Jamba Hearts, and at least one of them, they channeled the power of it to create Galactic Nova. And another would be used for Star Dream. But that begs the question, what is trapped in these hearts? Well, if you know Kirby lore, you may know where this is going. So, with Void Termina, we're told that it was sealed inside its Jamba Heart by 4 heroes, the leader of which is all but confirmed to be the infamous Galactonite. We also know that afterwards they were sealed away in fear of their power. So what if they were each put in their own Jamba Hearts? Now, I will do a bit of an unscripted tangent about how Galactonite's crystal does look different from the Jamba Hearts. It could be any number of things, either, like, they had to do a different spell because he was, like, too powerful to contain in the same way, or maybe it was, like, a replacement because he broke out of it or something, or maybe it was made by the scientific ancients, and, you know, it wasn't, like, a natural Jamba Heart, you know, it was kind of a prototype of sorts, or I don't really know, but the fact that they were both sealed away in crystal something or others is still an important detail that I want to account for. Now, with this idea, we may be able to learn the abilities of the other legendary heroes. First, Galactic Nova was known for granting wishes. Whichever hero was sealed in this heart might have had wish-granting abilities, which were accessible through Nova. Then, in Star Dream, its main ability is to open portals, an ability that one of these heroes could have adapted, /learned, /mimicked from Fecto Elfilis. And then, there's this newest one we'll see in next month's DLC. I think it's pretty clear he had some sort of ice magic. But wait, the other three are gone, aren't they? Galactonite is either dead or has his soul trapped within Morphonite, and these two were destroyed by Kirby. So we have the last of the four knights that battled Void Termina, and if they aren't battle ready from being sealed away, they definitely will be once they find out what happened to the others. Good luck, Kirby. And there's your theory. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Feel free to check out our other theories and the rest of the Indescribable channel. Or, if you like Kirby, you can find a timeline of the Kirby games over on my channel. Stay tuned for what we have next for you guys, and happy Jew lore.